You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Thursday, 10th day of October, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. If you're tuning in via the YouTube channel today, there seems to be some connectivity issues. Some frames are dropping, and that's highly unusual. I don't think it's on my end, but it could be. I think it's on the YouTube end. But anyway, you're here. So if it gets choppy or if it comes in and out and you're on YouTube, well, I wish I could fix it, but it's above my pay grade. So we'll do the best we can. Fair enough. All right. As you can see on the screen, our daily schedule, we start out with a daily devotional, a word of prayer, some news, a recap of the alerts. Then Michael joins us about 50 minutes into the broadcast for a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room. Then we do some live trading on the TradingView platform for about a half an hour. And then we wrap it up with our good word for the day. Now, 2 live broadcasts every trading day. It's 4 hours. The first 2 hours, that's private, members only, and those taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not taken your 1-week free trial, when Michael comes on, he'll walk you through and show you on the screen step by step how simple it is to take your trial. Okay? Now, once you sign up for the trial, you're going to get your desktop set up, you're going to get your indicators indicating, you're going to get an email. It's going to have instructions in it. Hold on to that email. Put it in a folder. Don't lose it, okay? Because you're going to need all the information in there over the course of your trial. That's if you're serious about the trial and serious about actually learning how to trade, okay? Just a heads up. When the live training room ends each day at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we take a 30-minute break and come back for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways to join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only have to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click that link, fill out that 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, about an hour before this broadcast starts, you'll get an email. In that email, there's a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. Benefit there is you'll have access to the question box so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. However, we know there's going to be days that you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you still would like to join live. And there'll be days when you're busy and can't join live, but want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com You've already got the YouTube part memorized, so all you got to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, simulcasting, but we archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,600 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. If you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we really are and how we've evolved over the years. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more. You're never going to watch them all. We don't expect you to. However, what we've done is we've archived every day how we've evolved. So you can just go in and pick days at random. Maybe pick a day from this year, jump forward a couple years, pick another day. Watch as much as you want. There's millions of teachable moments over all those broadcasts. So, do you need to go and watch those? No. But it's nice to know that you have that reference library available to you. It's just sort of a comfort thing. Like your binky or your teddy bear. Lots of teachable moments. However, if you simply show up every day in the live training room, listen, ask lots of questions, trade along in your demo account, you'll learn how to trade. But you got to show up and you got to do the work. This is no get-rich-quick scheme. You're building a business, okay? Businesses don't get built overnight. You got to put in the work. So if you're looking for easy money, you're in the wrong place. If you want to learn how to build a business that can potentially earn you more money than you ever dreamed of, well, then you are in the right place. So when the live training room ends each day at 11:30, that's when we take our break, then come back for this broadcast. And again, this is our schedule. So we're going to dive right in with our daily devotional. The topic of this week's devotional, it's actually 7 days. We started day 1 yesterday. What is my purpose? Learning to love God and love others. That is your purpose. Learning to love God and love others. And over the next 5 days after today, including today, 6 days, that is the goal of our devotion, to help you to learn exactly how to do that. Today's scripture is Matthew 22, verses 34 through 40. I'm sharing with you from the Message translation. So some of this may sound a little different than what you heard in Sunday school from the King James Version. The these and the thous have been removed. Jesus didn't speak in the King's English. The disciples didn't speak in the King's English. King's English hadn't even been invented. And that's the language that the King James Version is written in. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying the reason I use the Message translation is because it puts things in plain English. Now, Jesus, who was he hanging out with? Prostitutes, fishermen, tax collectors. They probably spoke some pretty simple, maybe even coarse language, okay? So, they spoke in the simple language of their day, be it Greek, Hebrew, Aramaic. And so this is just plain English. Starting in verse 34, when the Pharisees heard how he had bested the Sadducees, they gathered their forces for an assault. One of their religion scholars spoke for them, posing a question they hoped would show him up. Teacher, which command in God's law is the most important? In verse 37, Jesus responds, love the Lord your God with all your passion and prayer and intelligence. This is the most important, the first on any list. But there's a second to set alongside it. Love others as well as you love yourself. These two commands are pegs. Everything in God's law and the prophets hang from them. Again, Matthew 22, verses 34 through 40. Two commands. Today we will consider our greatest purpose: to love God, to love our neighbors. Put yourself completely under the influence of Jesus, so that he may think his thoughts in your mind, so his work through your hands for you will be all powerful, with him to strengthen you. What scripture is that? It's not a scripture. That was said by Mother Teresa. Every man is potentially every other man's neighbor. Neighborliness is non-spatial. It's qualitative. A man must love his neighbor directly, clearly permitting no barriers between. How would your life change or be reoriented if you were to define your life's purpose by Jesus' two greatest commandments? How could you choose to love and be loving to both God and those around you today? In the coming days, we will explore what it means to have a purpose centered around loving God and loving the people God has placed around us. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, you've called us to love you with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Help us to live out this greatest commandment each and every day. Let our love for you be reflected in the way we care for those around us, showing compassion, kindness, and mercy. Teach us to prioritize love above all, so that through us, your light may shine brightly in this world. Lord, we lift up those suffering in the aftermath of these hurricanes, Helene and Milton. Comfort those who have lost loved ones, homes, livelihoods. Provide shelter, resources, and peace to the displaced. And guide relief workers as they bring aid. May your presence be a refuge in the storm. And may hope and strength rise in the hearts of those affected. Bring swift recovery to their communities and remind them that you are always near to the brokenhearted. We also pray for your healing hand over the Middle East, where conflict has ravaged so many lives. Bring peace where there is war, reconciliation where there is division, and hope where there is despair. Protect the innocent, heal the wounded, and comfort the grieving. Move the hearts of leaders and nations towards peace and justice. And may your kingdom come in this region as it is in heaven. And last, Father, as America faces the upcoming election, We pray for your guidance. Protect the integrity of the election process and grant wisdom to voters as they make decisions that will shape the future of our nation. We also lift up those impacted by the hurricane, especially in voting districts where many conservative voters may face difficulties casting their ballots. We pray that you would open paths for them to vote despite the challenges they face, provide solutions, and remove obstacles so that every voice can be heard. Help your people to stand firm in their convictions and to trust in your will for our nation. One nation under God. God bless America. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, Amen. Amen. Happy Thursday. Speaking of Thursday, tonight is the members only workshop. Obviously, based on the name, you got to be a member to get into the workshop. I've been doing the Thursday night workshops since 2008. Anyway, if you've been on the trial and you want to be in the workshop tonight, you should have gotten an email yesterday and probably another today with specific step-by-step instructions on how you too can become a member with access to everything all of our members have. And every Thursday night, you'll get an invitation to join us at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, let me give you the numbers from around the world. I'm going to start in the U.S. The cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently, the Dow down 26 points. A reminder, we put in a new all-time historic high yesterday on the S&P 500 Emini. And the last time I looked, we had an inside day going on. But we'll get to the charts in a few minutes, and we'll see where we stand right now. The Dow down 26 points, the NASDAQ up 37, S&P 500 up 2, the Russell 2000 down 15. That's some pretty quiet trade compared to what we've seen over the last few days. In the commodity basket, crude oil. What a juggernaut. Today it's back up $2.24. Trading 75.48 last. That's a gain of just over 3%, or $2,230 per contract traded. Gold up $17, trading 26.4320 last, or a gain of $1,700 per contract traded. Silver up 64 cents, trading 31.31 last. That's a gain of over 2%, or over $2,500 per contract traded. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 102 points. Shanghai gained 43, and for the Shanghai, that's over 1.25%. The Hang Seng up 614 points. That's a gain of almost 3%. But it wasn't such a rosy day for the UK. At the close, FTSE down 6 points. The DAX down 44 points. CAC down 18. So we had a green day in Asia. It's a red day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a mixed Radio Thursday here in the US of A, We have two of the major indices in the red, the Dow and the Russell. Now, the Dow, it's only down 25 points. That's not a lot for the Dow. The Russell is down 16 points, so that's 0.75%. So there's some meat on that bone. The NQ's up 34 points, which is literally nothing for the NQ. And the S&P is up 2 points. Your goal for the day. Now, just because that's where the markets are now, that doesn't mean there hasn't been run-ups and run-downs. And when we talk about the daily range of any market, the low of the day and the high of the day, let's just say it's 50 points. Okay, that's as the crow flies. But that's not how markets work. Price moves in legs. You get a leg up, and a retracement, and a leg, and a retracement, and a leg, and a retracement. So you might say at the end of the day, well, the S&P had a 50-point range from the low to the high, but there's a good chance that it traveled, 2, 3, 4, 500 points in order to finish the day with a 50% or the 50-point range. Oh, hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, let's get to the news. Hurricane Milton made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast last night as a Category 3 storm, bringing wind speeds of 125 miles per hour and over a dozen tornadoes and thunderstorm warnings. Among the greatest dangers is Milton's storm surge, expected to reach up to 13 feet as of the writing of this article. An estimated 6 million Florida residents were ordered to evacuate ahead of the storm's arrival, including dozens of emergency shelters. Those who did not were directed to shelter in place. More than 1 million people have lost power. 1 million people without electricity. Several airports have just simply closed, and emergency services in multiple counties have been suspended. Tampa is among several Florida cities considered most vulnerable to storm surge in the U.S. due to its low elevation and continental shelf acting like a funnel, with water accumulating on the coast. As the storm continues on its projected path into the Atlantic Ocean, it is expected to reshape the state's coastline. Now, when you and I grew up, in first grade, we probably, or maybe kindergarten, we saw that first big map on the wall. Continental United States. Its shape, anyone anywhere in the world knows what the United States look like, how it's shaped. But what we're talking about here is when this is all said and done, a lot of those maps are going to have to come down because the Florida coastline itself, what's left of it, will have drastically changed. Our hearts and prayers are with all those affected folks. I mean, it's not just what's already happened. We're still not sure what all has happened. So many people are missing. And once the dust settles, then comes the attempt to rebuild. Now, I'm not going to read an article on this. I'm just going to wing it. Mayorkas, Department of Homeland Security, on national TV, said FEMA has run out of money. We don't have the money to help these people, these hurricane victims, because we spent our budget on people who are in our country illegally. So, of course, all the other channels and news stations have simply played the clip of what Mayorkas said. And now our vice president and president have come out and said that that's disinformation. I didn't say it. No news commentator said it. Mayorkas, who's responsible for FEMA, he said it. So how is repeating what he said disinformation? Guys, there's something going on here that this country has never seen before. Pray for America. Pray for all of the affected Americans, but pray for America as a country, one nation, under God. I mean, it is the most ridiculous. And I'm sure you caught the 60 Minutes the other night. They asked Tim if he could be trusted. And you know what his answer was? This is on 60 Minutes. You can go watch it. Just go to their website. He goes, I think so. He goes, ask the people who know me, and they'll probably vouch for me. He's told some, but guess what? It's all Trump's fault. The hurricanes, the problems at the border, everything's Trump's fault. I'm sorry, but unless I've lost the ability to read a calendar, he hasn't been president for almost 4 years. But both Biden and Harris are laying it at Trump's feet. It's his fault. Now, he's flown into these areas to help people. He's sheltering the disaster workers free of charge in some of his resorts. And he's not even the president. He doesn't have to do this. And I don't believe he's doing it for political gain. I think he's doing it because he actually cares for Americans. So, anyway. Probably get banned for that, but that's how I feel. Yes, Kenneth, it is ludicrous. And we don't mean the hip-hop star. We mean it's ludicrous. Okay, a warmer than expected inflation reading released today offers new ammunition for Federal Reserve hawks who are arguing for a gradual pace of interest rate cuts. The Consumer Price Index for the month of September was higher than what economists anticipated, increasing 2.4% over the prior year in September. That was still a slight deceleration compared to August's 2.5% annual gain in prices. On the Fed's preferred core measure, which eliminates food and energy because we don't use those things, the index rose 3.3% compared with expectations of a 3.2% rise. Imagine if they had put gas and food in there, and that was up 0.1% from August. This report, according to some Fed watchers, is unlikely to change the path outlined by policy makers for smaller future cuts following an initial 50 basis point reduction in September. Investors, in fact, boosted the odds that the Fed will trim its policy rate by 25 basis points in November to 87% following the CPI release. This whole thing has been such a horrible mistake. You don't heal a fragile economy by raising interest rates. Unless you're the rich and powerful who aren't affected by interest rate hikes. September's consumer price index has come in hotter than expected, but the data offered one point of optimism. Shelter cost increase came down during the month, flashing an encouraging economic signal that the most stubborn contributor to inflation may be finally giving ground. Now you can figure out the reason behind that. Many in this audience are on Social Security. The increase in Social Security benefits next year will be pocket size. Social Security Administration announced a 2.5% cost of living adjustment for 2025. Now this year, seniors got a 3.2% bump. And after the hell we've been through this year, now we're going to get 2.5%. But we can send hundreds of millions of dollars to Lebanon. We can send billions of dollars to Ukraine. We can even send $700 to victims of these hurricanes. But our seniors, the ones who helped to make America great, they get a bump of 2.5%. Starting in January, the increase will add a little under $50 to the average monthly benefit of roughly $1,900, providing some comfort to the more than 72 million retired senior citizens and disabled workers who have grappled with higher prices in recent years. Millions will still struggle to make ends meet in retirement. In fact, many people won't be able to retire, and many people are having to come out of retirement because of the current administration's mishandling of our government and our country. Now, this comes as no surprise. Weekly jobless claims rose more than expected last week in a sign of cooling in the labor market. New data from the Department of Labor showed 258,000 initial jobless claims were filed in the week ending October 5th, up from 225,000 the week prior, and above the 230,000 economists had expected. This marked the highest number of weekly unemployment claims since August of 2023. Now, what do you think's going to happen when you let 20 million people into the country illegally over a span of 3.5 years? Do you think maybe there won't be enough jobs to go around? And many of these people who have entered our country illegally, warmly welcomed into our country, given debit cards and plane tickets and bus tickets and all kinds of goodies. Certainly more than the $700 given to the victims of the hurricanes. Don't you understand how much worse this is going to get? I mean, already people who aren't here legally, many states want to give them driver's license. They want to let them vote. Don't you think they're going to give them unemployment too? Of course they are. Elon Musk wrote an article. I shared it with you on the broadcast the other day. America is going bankrupt. I've said for 2 years, almost daily on this broadcast, we're headed for a full-on depression. No soft landing, no recession, Now, they'll dress it up and try to make it look like it's not as bad as it really is. But we've all seen those stark black and white photos from back during the Great Depression. Men standing in line looking for work, women standing in lines, soup lines, trying to get a little soup and a little piece of bread to try to feed their family. Guys, if you don't show up in November and change the trajectory of this country, we're doomed. We're just absolutely doomed. Now, sure, some will say, well, God could fix it if he wanted to. God can do anything. But Americans have got to get up off their butt and do something. And then God will help us. But if we sit on our couch and moan and whine and cry and wish things were different, that doesn't move God's hand. Okay? When he sees you loving him and loving your neighbor, guess what? He shows up and things happen. Okay? I don't know. A lot of soapbox rant today. I'm a little upset. The global PC industry hit a snag in the third quarter as worldwide shipments declined for the first time in 3 quarters, despite hype around so-called artificial intelligence PCs and growth in the US and Japan. Well, what's the statement there? Just like people aren't buying these Apple AI smartphones the way Apple thought they were. We talked about that the other day. Who wants an artificially intelligent computer on their desktop, monitoring everything they do, type, say, and sending it all back to the home office, wherever that is? In the audience, Kenneth shares, it's beyond common sense, but half of America are totally on board. I know, Kenneth, that's what blows my mind. Okay, I just told you the number of American seniors that are on Social Security, and President Trump has said he will stop taxing Social Security earnings. How in God's name can those people vote for someone who's going to increase taxes on everyone? Now, when the Trump tax cuts expire, Vice President Harris will take no responsibility for that. You follow me? All she has to do is simply let them expire. And when the corporate tax rates jump, guess what? American companies are going to jump ship and go to other countries and not be hiring American workers. Kenneth went on to say, even Christians who say they don't believe in abortion are saying they're still voting a platform who is for abortion. I don't get it. My vote is in. Evil prevails when good men do nothing. I challenge every person in this audience, whether you're listening to this live or after the fact. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. Get up off your butt, get off your couch, go do something. Okay? And I'm not talking about walking around with a picket sign. That whole picketing, that's the most ridiculous thing. A bunch of drugged out hippies started that, back in the 60s. What has that ever changed? What difference has that ever made? You know what? I'm done with the news. Logic 247 is our 24/7, round-the-clock E-mini alert service. Currently in week 323, and over the last 323 weeks, we've issued over 18,000 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out based on market structure and a simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Since the markets opened this week, Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've issued a total of 34 alerts. Still waiting on the outcome of 13. Some of those have resolved themselves today. Valerie did this recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. She'll update it. Not only have some of these resolved themselves, but I've also put out additional alerts today. And those will all be reconciled when she does the recap this afternoon, probably around somewhere between 3 and 5 p.m. So anyway, at the time she did the recap this morning, we had a total of 21 actionable alerts, of which 1 or 5% would have been stopped out, again based on market structure and that very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders in their one-on-one mentoring sessions. Typical week, there's 50 to 100 alerts. I'm going to guess with the alerts I put out this morning, we're probably up to about 40. And what I put out tonight and what I put out tomorrow morning, we'll probably get over 50. But percentage-wise, it's a great week. I cannot complain. Cannot complain. Now remember, the logic alerts are not designed for you to just trade so you don't have to learn how to trade. They're designed to teach you how to read a chart. Every logic alert has an entry price, an initial target. That's designed to help you get your goal for the day. And then I show you every potential obstacle on the way to the final trade to target, which on a long is the weekly zone above and on a short the weekly zone below. If you choose to just try and trade the alerts and call yourself a trader, well, then you've wasted your time and you've wasted your money. Use the alerts as they're intended. Once you've been around a couple weeks, you should be able to look at a 30-minute chart and instinctively know what the next high probability move is. Now, are we right 100% of the time? No. As I said, over the last 323 weeks, and now over 18,000 individual alerts, we've averaged 20% or less being stopped out. Okay? So there is no holy grail where you never get stopped out again. And if you can't handle being stopped out, then trading's not for you. Because there is no holy grail. There cannot be any holy grail that will prevent you from ever being stopped out. The only way you can never get stopped out again is A, not trade, or B, not use a stop. How about that? And if you don't use a stop, you know what's going to happen. Well, you're going to blow up another account. Being stopped out is as much a part of trading as breathing is a part of life. So the tools we give you, the rules we give you, the blueprint we give you, follow it and use them as they're intended. Don't try to cheat the system. Don't try to short circuit anything. Show up, do the work, and you can learn how to trade. If you think you're going to become a member and just trade the alerts and not have to learn how to trade, you know what? Save your time, save your money. That's not what it's designed for. And I hope I made that perfectly clear. The CTAs, they're different than the logic alerts. As I said, the logic alerts have an entry price, an initial target, second target, third target, sometimes a fourth or fifth target, and then a final trade to target. But all you need is that first target to get your goal for the day. The purpose is to teach you how to read the chart so you know where the windows of opportunity are. Price moves from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. That's what the logic alerts are designed to do, to help you decipher the chart. You got to learn how to read the chart before you can learn how to trade. Now, the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. The CTAs, unlike the logic alerts, are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex opened. Last night, the Thursday session began at 6 p.m. Eastern, and at 6 p.m. Eastern, every one of our members had every one of these targets. At 6 p.m. Eastern, every member and every trial member. Okay, S&P still got that inside day going. Let me refresh my chart just to make sure. Guys, I'm warning you, DT hangs up sometimes here late. There's a fix coming. We'll talk about it publicly soon. Yes, today's high, 58.44. New all-time high yesterday, 46.5. So as you can see, today's candle has not taken out yesterday's high, nor has it taken out yesterday's low. So what does that mean? It's called an inside day. Now, the new all-time high, 58.46.5. Let's see how close we can get to that. Now, you click the fib line, you hover over that little square, and you got to wait till it turns green. And you want to get as close to 46.5 as you can, 58.46.5. So let's see how close we can get. That's more than a point off, but for the purpose of the daily chart, it'll suffice. 46.50. So we're off a point and a quarter. Yeah, when we're off air, I'll try to tighten it up a little bit and get it as close as I can right to it. But, I mean, if you just look at it, it looks like it's right at it. Because this is the daily chart. Now, the daily chart's important because institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. It has to do with account size. Because of the size of their accounts and the size they trade in. They're the ones who actually move price. So whether you trade futures or stocks or crypto or Forex or ETFs, before you start your trading session, spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of what you're about to trade. See what the institutions are doing or not doing. Now, an inside day is an indication of a potential reversal. Okay? It's very important. So how we close today. If we close back down at the 62, that could give us a bounce. What we need to do is we need to get below the 62. We got support times 3 right here. Got red and falling, you got the step line, you got the 62. We can close below that, support times 3, then we'll most likely drop to the daily BBC. The green line's the BBC, stands for bull bear cross. Price crosses above it, we're bullish. Price crosses below it, we're bearish. Bullish, bearish, bullish. It's pretty simple. The markets are fractal in nature. BBC can apply to a daily, can be applied to a daily, weekly, monthly chart, a 30-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a tick chart, a range chart. It's going to function the same no matter what chart you put it on or what market. When price gets above the green line, expect higher prices. Price gets below the green line, expect lower prices. Okay. This cycle has been ongoing since the inception of the markets, and it will remain in place till the markets cease to exist. Why? Because that's how markets work. Why don't other people tell you that? Because they couldn't sell you a million different things. We don't have a million different things. We simply offer to teach you how to trade if you want to do the work. All right. The vertical line separates today, Thursday, from Wednesday. Back here's Tuesday. You keep scrolling on back to Monday. But the CTAs came out last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, right when the market opened. Okay. We're above the VVC, so price goes up to the weekly zone where it consolidates for a lot of hours. These are 30-minute candles. We're talking from 6 p.m. last night to 1 a.m. this morning. Then we drop to the VVC. When price drops to the VVC, we expect support till proven otherwise. And it did give us support. And as we tried to move higher, we hit red and falling. See, once blue and climbing turns to red and falling, you're probably going to have some lower prices. That's exactly what happened. Okay. Now, this little double bottom we have right here, that's buyers coming in early ahead of this low. That pushed us back up to the weekly zone. Now, these are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the zones are published for the week, they're carved in stone. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Okay. Yesterday, we dropped to this zone, 5783/84. Support. This was an anomaly. Rarely do we rip through a zone on a 30-minute chart without retracing back to the zone, but we did here. Markets were bullish. But look where we came to a grinding halt. The zone published Monday morning. Resistance sends the market looking for support. And this support came in just ahead of this little low right here. If I were going to draw a line, it would have been right there, right where my red cursor line is. Sent us back up to resistance. And again, it was until really 1:30 a.m. Eastern that we made that drop. Retracement, drop, retracement, drop. See, when red and falling gets directly below price, this becomes potential support. That support sent us back to the zone. Spiked it. The zone's 5840/41. Spiked it. But in that same 30-minute period, okay, remember we had big news this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and this is the 8:30 candle. Okay, we don't recommend trading news. Price went from zone to zone. This zone is 5814/15, and the low of this candle is 5814.75. Zone to zone. Market finds support. It's going to go look for resistance. When it finds resistance, it's going to go look for support at the zone. We had the short target once, we had it twice, we had it 3 times. And then again, back up to this zone, 5840/41, resistance. Price is now trying to get below the BBC. It's been below. It's actually spiked below blue and climbing. Both of those are potential support. If this candle closes below this low, 58.25. Then 58.22 down to 58.19. That would be a nice 3-point trade. You only need 2 points to get your goal for the day. Okay? So this whole session has been from zone to zone to zone, and now we're trying to get back to the zone. Trade every market exactly the same. Same indicators, same strategy, same everything. Here's the open last night. We ran into red and falling, resistance, and it took us down to the zone, which we expect to be support till proven otherwise. Bounced us up to the BBC, resistance, back to the zone, support, and then we made a run at the long target. We didn't quite get there. High 42,850. So then we consolidated at the zone. When price encounters a weekly trading zone, 70% of the time you're going to get consolidation. Like this, like this, like this. 20% of the time you get rejection, 10% of the time slice. Okay. On the Russell, here's where we opened last night. Hit the BBC, blue and climbing, turned to red and falling, and we dropped right to the short target. Yeah, we missed it by 2207, and we missed it by 2 ticks. Support sent us to resistance at the zone, to the tick. Then when that 8:30 news came out, look where it sent us. Now we're finally pulling back up to the VBC and the zone. That should be good resistance and good for another leg to the downside. All right, Michael's here, so we're going to pause this. We'll come back and we'll finish all of these markets. Michael's going to give us a recap of what happened in the live training room, do some live trading on TradingView. Then once I finish the recap of the alerts, and again, we're on a hot week this week. I think we're at 5% stopped out so far this week, so it's been a good week. All right, Michael, looks good.
And we're still in that inside day.
And we still have the inside day. I told you.
All right, so here we go.
Okay, yeah, everything looks good.
Okay, good. All right, and it's Thursday. So good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday, the 10th day of October, 10/10/2024. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There is no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button. And when you do, click on the purple button. You'll be sent to this registration page. On this page, all we ask for is your name, your email, your phone number. You can do the multiple choice questions right here. And if you have Ninja, if you want to use Ninja charts, give us your machine ID. If you just want to trade on Ninja, we don't need the machine ID. Okay, but if you want to give us your machine ID so you have Ninja charts, then do that. And here on TradingView, all we ask for is a username here. You should give us a username on TradingView. If you don't have one yet, you should get one. Get a TradingView trial account, right? To get a TradingView trial account, you go here to mytradingiq.com, trading platforms, and just watch this video right here, TradingView platform. It's a 3-minute video. You're well worth your 3 minutes to watch that. Oh, oops, sorry about that. But that's all you have to do. Okay, that's all you have to do to get the trial going. Now, the recap. We had a pretty good day today. We ended up placing a couple of trades on the 100-tick range NQ, and it worked out. I mean, I got 90 ticks out of one. I made a mistake on one. I lost 24 ticks, but I made 90 ticks on the other one. So it worked out pretty well. So the way it worked out, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, I think I said this already, but I got to say it again. You have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Sort of a legal requirement to say that. Michael R., I sent you I think I sent in an email. Picture of the chair. On the NQ today, we're up 62 ticks. On the Russell, we're up 50. On the YM, we're up 23. And on the S, we're up 6. So that put us at 750 on the morning session. Today, it took 24 minutes and 9 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're at $1,250 with 10 contracts on. We took a total of 18 trades this morning. So on the month, now we're up $7,352. That's over 8 business days, averaging $919 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year now, I've got my goal 191 out of 191 possible days. And we've gone 86 days since my last non-green day and 352 days since my last negative day. Sorry, that's not true. Since my last red day. My last negative day was 86 days ago. My last red day was 352 days ago. The difference being a red day means I never got the goal for the day and I ended negative. The blue day, I got the goal for the day, but then I kept trading and I gave it all back. And that is only in the time frame that I'm constrained with in the morning. So it's all what happens in those 2 hours. By continuing trading, I didn't end up with a red day and I didn't end up with a blue day. But in those 2 hours, that is how it worked out. So on the year now, we're at $93,490, averaging $489 per contract for 2-hour trading day. So far this year, following the 24/20 blueprint and adding 1 contract per month, we are now averaging $2,665 per hour, and we had to work 55.11 hours so far this year. Okay, that's that. Now let's get into the trades. We had a little bit on every market. Some of them we had very little bit. We had a second ES trade in here at the end of the session, and I took 1 tick profit on that, I think. Let me check and see that. I think I may be off just a hair on these results, because I know at the end of the morning session I had a trade on, and then we were talking, and I took the trade off, and let's see, ES. It was actually 2 ticks. We bought at 58.30 and we sold at 58.30. Actually, we bought at 58.30.23 and we sold at 58.30.62. So it was more than 2 ticks. It was almost 3 ticks. So the ES, I already did, but it was 2 ticks. Look, I already made the ES to 6. All right, so it's already in there. I didn't have to change anything. It was 2 ticks I took credit for, and it was actually almost 4 ticks that they actually gave me. Anyway, the trades that we did take. Let's get into this. We'll start out with the YM. We had one right here where we had, is this it for the YM? Yeah, we had 2 trades on the YM. The first trade was right here. We picked up 48 ticks on this very first trade. And then we stopped out on that one, minus 25. So that put us at plus 23 overall. So that first trade right there was awesome on the YM. And I kept trailing my stop and trailing my stop and trailing my stop. And if I'd have seen the midpoint down here, I'd have probably had a target down there and let it go toward the midpoint. And I would have gotten out with the trailing stop anyway, because it didn't actually hit it. We did take this next trade right here, and that did stop us out. Now, I'm not sure I got a good entry on that because it looks like 680 down to 667. It went 13 ticks into profit. So I probably didn't get a very good entry on that because I should have had my stop at break even, but I ended up stopping out. And we didn't trade it again. Okay, that's not to say there weren't more trades, but there weren't any from me. As we got through here, I needed to put in a lower swing to be able to take that, and it didn't. And it goes all the way through here. It was all crunched up. Yeah, there weren't really that many trades available. Even during the break, there was 1 long trade right here during the break. All right, 1 long trade right here that would have been a break even. 1 long trade right here that would have given a little bit of profit. And a short trade right here that just barely put in a lower swing that would have given decent profit though, like 30 ticks profit. And the one that's going on right now, which is obviously giving another 30 or 40 ticks in profit right now. These are 19 range bars. All right, so every bar is 19 ticks. So from here to here, 19 ticks. From there to there, probably another 15. From here to here, 19 ticks. From here down to here, probably another 19. That was the YM this morning. Okay, that was the YM. And this one here is the Russell. Now this, all the stuff that I drew in here yesterday about the Russell, the diamond principle and all that, you see the diamond principle that I drew in here yesterday? We just got up to that level right there. I think I drew that in here yesterday. Anyway, all these drawings, I knew I drew them. Oh, this was from this morning. Right, this right here, the rounding top was from this morning. I drew this morning. So the diamond principle that I drew this morning was in here. Right, and all the levels that I drew in here using that we were able to gather from this information, it's now satisfied all those levels. But the stuff that I drew yesterday, I think we're on a 19 range. Yeah, this is a 19 range right now. Didn't we draw some stuff in here yesterday? We did, over here. And it almost got up to that level yesterday. This is what we were looking at yesterday. It almost got up to that level yesterday, and then it failed off of the top. That level right there. There were a ton of trades in there, and there's more trades developing now. So what it should do right now, looking at the market the way it is right now, it gave just a hair higher swing right there. So we have higher bottoms, higher highs, and higher lows right now. But the shorter term thing that we're looking at right here is trending down. It's kind of tough right here. Decide what it's going to do. I don't know, just get a trade what's in front of you, I guess. And what's in front of you says that you did have a lower swing right here, and it'll probably pull back up toward the ribbon, but not necessarily to the ribbon, and trade short again. That's the Russell. So on the Russell today, the trades that we did take, sorry, I got totally sidetracked. Trades that we did take, we took that break even trade to begin with, and then we had a plus 20, a plus 10, and a plus 10. That's what we did take. This purple arrow this morning, I was continuing the trajectory of this rounding top. And what I was saying this morning is if it closes above that trajectory, then we should expect to see it finish the swing high, the leg length that it was working on, which was right here. Finish that leg length, and it did do that. And then we're looking for it to finish the leg length again and repeat that leg length. That should have gotten it up to here, but it failed to do it right there. Right? It's failing to do it again over here. And that was the Russell today. That was a lot of words. I think I'm using up my word quota. Yeah, quiet night in the meeting. On the ES, we just had a couple of trades. The first one here, we picked up 4 ticks. And the second one over there, we picked up 2 ticks. Over here. 2 ticks on that one. During the break, it had to put in a higher swing. After this right here, I had to put in a higher swing, which it did do. And over here, where it came out of the oversold, so we would have gone long again, right up to the zone, which is what you would have anticipated, a good spot to sell. And it failed to put in a higher swing, turned around, and gave you a great short. Oh, this was not a great short right here. This looks like one that would have either stopped you off to the tick right there or gotten you a break even right here. And this was not a valid trade. Okay, I came over here and gave you another one right here. Now, this is a 7-tick range. So right here on the 7-tick range, it went 7 ticks into profit. Stop, put it on the break even right there. Went really sideways before it put in this lower swing that it's got right now. So now you'd be looking for a pullback that gets this little blue thing right here above the green line. Right? That's what you'd be looking for on the ES right now. And the NQ. We didn't trade the NQ all that much again today. Actually, we did. I thought we didn't trade that much, but it turns out we did. Let's go back to the beginning. There were a couple of trades that I did in there during the lesson plan. My first trade here on the NQ was a break even, and then my next trade was a stop out right here. We're minus 36 ticks. So then we had to get that back, and we did it a little bit at a time. We got 4 ticks here. That got us to minus 32. 4 ticks there. That got us to minus 28. Then the next one, somewhere in here, we had a plus 20 that got us to minus 8. And then I had these 2 trades right here. Now, these 2 trades were during the lesson plan today, and I did them on a 100 range bar. So I'll show you where they were today on the 100 range bar. Right, there were these 2 trades right here on the 100 range bar. Now, it should be moved over, but they're both on the same bar, right? They were both on this bar right here. So I got into the trade, and then I was, as part of the lesson plan, I was trying to show hang on a sec. There it is over there. As part of the lesson plan, I was trying to show how to use the DOM, and then I went and made a mistake with it. Kenneth. Okay. And then I made a mistake with the DOM. I left clicked when I should have right clicked, and it got me out of the trade. Now we were in this right here at exactly the right place. We put the order on ahead of time while this was moving up. I was explaining how to use the DOM, how to put the order on ahead of time, and how we do it. And I went to the 100 range so it wouldn't happen too fast. But then it did it, and it pulled down. And I was trying to put my stop in the right place, but I had to scroll way down in my DOM to get there. And when I went to put the stop on, I should have done a right click, and I did a left click. And so it took me out of the trade while it was down right here, about 6 points down. And so then I waited until it got back up to the entry point, and I entered again, a little above the entry point actually. And it pulled back again. It was a pretty deep pullback, but this time I had my stop in the right place, way back here. And once I got 30 or 40 ticks into profit, I bumped it to break even, and then I trailed it up. After that, I think I started with 40. Once it started getting above 40, I trailed it to 40, and then I worked it all the way up to 90 ticks as it got up here. All right, that's how we took those two trades right there on the NQ. So we went from, we're at -8, then I made that mistake, and I stopped out with the -6 points. So that put us at -32, and then I made the 90 ticks, that put us at +58. And then we had one more trade in the afternoon right there. And we picked up another, what did we get on? 4 ticks, 1 point. And that was our whole morning with the with the NQ. All right, and right now, this last trade right here would have been a stop out coming out of the overbought right there. It would have been a stop out, and so you wouldn't be looking to trade here right now. Okay, and that was our day with the NQ and everything else. So if you are just coming on right now in the YouTube session, and you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple button right here. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on the purple button, and and you will you'll be brought, sorry, I just had a thought. You'll be brought to this registration page. On the registration page, all you have to do is your name, email, phone number, and give us this information so we get your indicators indicating at the beginning of your trial. You are way better off getting the indicators indicating at the beginning of the trial than in the middle of the trial. Then at the end of the trial, when it really does end, because they do end, you can understand, oh, I wish I'd have gotten that started at the beginning of the trial. And you can say, well, we showed you how. All right, so do that if you're going to take the trial. All right, make sure you do that. And if you need help in the beginning, let us know. We are here to help you. All right, we're here to help you get started with all that stuff. All right, let's get into some trades now if we can. This did not show waterfall lines in the ribbon on the down close, and we wouldn't want it anyway because it didn't put in a lower swing from right here. This did not put in a lower swing. This one over here is pretty close to a trade setup. So the Russell and the YM are pretty close to trade setup. So let's just focus on those two for right now. Right, you know, if I make it just 2 charts, it's going to lop off the other 2. If I go down to 2, it's going to take off the stuff on the right. So if I do this, I just go to 2 charts. We just have the Russell and the YM. All right, we'll focus on them. We're overbought right now on the YM, so we need to down close 56 down to 36 on the YM. This is what it looks like. Okay, and over here on the Russell, we haven't gotten into the overbought yet, so we don't have a trade there. But on the YM, this is what it looks like, and the target's on the downside. We would be looking at 616, which is a swing low. That's the first target right here. Well, that's target number 2. And then below that is 433. So way down here after it goes through the swing low. Right now, if you have our stuff and like the context PP, and those targets are too far out for you, there is an adjustment that you can make that may bring them in. Now they are based upon the swing, the pivots. But the pivots, if you change, I thought I had it in here, so you could change the pivot length. You can change the look back of the pivot. I thought I had it in there. Maybe I don't have it on this particular one. We can change the look back on the pivot, so it'll look back fewer bars and it'll bid on that. So it may actually give you smaller targets that aren't so far away. But right now, we're just waiting for this thing to give us any profit at all. It hasn't done that yet. Over here on the Russell, we want that to pull back. This bar here to close up, really. If it closes up, that'll probably get us into the overbought, and then look for the down close after that. Okay. All right. So the YM is starting to move in our favor. We want it to go 10 ticks into profit down here to 25. I might have turned that on this morning. Hope I didn't. So one of the things that we covered in the morning session was you can turn a price alert on like that. So I don't have it set up to automatically move the stop to break even, but when it gets down to that level, it's going to pop up a box that says we hit that level. So if I'm not focused on it, I'll know that box is there when I look back that we have hit that level. Okay. All right. So on the Russell, we still haven't gotten the up close yet. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? All right. So we have a 25 tick stop. It should be 25 ticks. That's 25 ticks. We have a 25 tick stop on this. So if it stops us out, we've accepted the risk and we'll take the stop out. Here we are on the Russell. Okay, the Russell's at the point now we can start putting an order on. Let's bring that over and we'll do our analysis. The high of this bar right here. The high of this bar is at 97.4. So 95.4 is what we're selling. 20 ticks below the high of the bar. Okay. That's why we use the 19 range. It's easy to do the math on 20 ticks. It's 20 ticks below the high of the bar is what we're selling. Okay. Now, let me pin that. I got both of them pinned. Now, if we stop out on that, we stop out on that. It is what it is. The Russell's actually coming together a little bit. We did stop out on the YM. So the Russell's actually coming together a little bit better because it's actually going all the way back up and testing the ribbon. Now, I like to see it bounce off the ribbon and give us a signal at the same time. 98.8 down to 68.8. 98. Did I just say that right? 98.8 down to 96.8. That's what I meant to say. 96.8. There it is. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to look at, I wanted to go out here and look at the Bitcoin. See what that's doing. I haven't looked at that in a while. All right, so Bitcoin's had a couple of rough days here. And one further. What was I looking at there? XOM. I haven't looked at that in a while. But it's still right around the same price. All right, the Russell, it's got to close down. If this bar ends up closing up, then it's not going to end up being a trade. Okay, we got to have the lines separated on the down close. The XOM, I'm going to look at that really quick. Let's see. The XOM on the 30 range this morning. XOM on the 30 range this morning started out. Why do I have so many things going here? The XOM 30 range this morning started out in here, gave this long right at the open. And did it go a buck? 23 and a quarter up to 23.29. No, it did not. It only went a few cents. And then it turned down. I don't know if it is turned on for shorts or not. No, it's not. Okay, do that and put the buy slip on. Let's see what it ends up with. That's XOM. XOM is Exxon. All right, we are ending up with nothing here on the Russell. Okay, this bar is going up too far, so we're going to cancel that. Slide it back over here, and we might get something else here on the NQ on the long side. You see the ribbon is all spread out there right now. So we might get something on the long side right there. What else were we looking at? 7, we had 30-year bonds. I think we have a bond auction today. Then we had Amazon. Right, and Amazon was something that we're going to look at. Oops, this is excellent. Back to Amazon again. Amazon has made a big run in the last day or so. We were looking for it to get down here, get down to 80.22. So the options at one point that we looked at last week, I was looking for 225 was the target on that. It got up to like 190. We'll discuss that in the meeting tonight. Go back to 4 right here. And that's it. All right, so we ended up with no trade here, and no trade here, and no trade here. We had the one trade here on the YM, and then stopped out. And it is now 121, so we have 9 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Anybody have any questions about anything? Michael R., did you get a picture of that chair? It's actually pretty wide. It's is because I did what? Okay. Yeah, I sent you a screenshot of what happened in there this morning in the boardroom. But yes, I don't know how we'll get around that. Put Jada's number in there, I guess. Or put Jada's on my other account. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know. This is a new thing that they're doing though, because one number can only be used on one account. That's what it is, right? Probably unique number per account, something like that. That's got to be new because I've had the same number on several accounts. Well, maybe I didn't have the 2-factor authentication on it. Maybe that's what it is. That could be it. That could be it. Well, we'll work it out. We'll work it out. I mentioned it. I mentioned it in September. Yeah. Well, you might still be able to do that, but you'll have to do it. It's, you want to go down to the other program. We can talk about that. Yeah. Yep. That's it. I mean, that's all you have to just ask. Well, I don't know. Yeah, give them a call and see. Call their sales and see. All right. So we wanted to see this pull back a little bit deeper to get this into the oversold. Over here on the yes, we want to see that get down into the oversold. Over here on the YM and the Russell, we just don't have anything. It's pulled back too deep to give us a short, so it's going to have to make a big move up and then pull back. All right. Now both these, the ES and the NQ have changed direction. So after a direction change, I like it to come back and hit the ribbon before it actually gives us a push up. But we'll see what it gives us. Okay, we'll see what it gives us here. Temu, Michael. Go to Temu.com. A lot of the stuff they have is crap, but sometimes you get something good. Here, I'll type it in for you. Yeah, MU.com. The furniture they usually do locally. You know, if you buy the little knickknacks and all the other crap that they have on there, you got to wait for that to come, because that comes from the source country usually. But furniture they usually do locally, so that comes in like a day or two. And we actually just got something else from them too. One of those lift chairs from my father-in-law. It's like a recliner that, you know, you press a button and it actually stands you almost all the way up. It lifts the whole chair up so that you're on your feet, and all you have to do is stand up straight. We got one of those for like $500 or something like that, and it works really well. I was surprised. And it comes pretty much all assembled. You just go slide all the pieces into place. And that came in like 2 days. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of that I can show you too. If you, I know you don't need one of those right now, Michael, but if you ever did, it's an electric recliner that will lift you up. Let me see. Let's see if I actually have a picture of that. Let's see. What is that a picture of? Oh, that stuff, internet stuff. Nope, I don't think I took a picture.
All right, we're down to like 3 minutes. You want to go ahead and wrap it?
Oh, all right. Yeah, we'll wrap it up, I guess. I'm looking for the down close there, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen here in the next 30 minutes.
I'm happy to wait, but it's not working. So.
Well, here it is right here, the down close right there. This is the one right here. We didn't get the down close over here on the NQ, but we did get it on the ES. So right now, the bottom of this is at 30.50. So you'd be buying 32.50 on the ES right now. All right. So again, what I'd like to see, because we had a direction change right here, what I'd like to see is to get all the way down closer to the ribbon, or actually hit the ribbon after a direction change. But I don't know if we're going to get that. And we have a minute and a half left, so I don't know if we're going to fill on this either. My order is waiting right there, because the bottom of this bar here is, if you look at the low right up here, if you look at the low, it's at 30.5. So you have to buy 8 ticks above the bottom of the bar. That's why we use the 7 range. The 8th tick is where you want to get filled. The 8th tick is what's going to close this bar and put you into the next one. All right, it's right there. So we've now got a little 29.75. Now it's going down even further. So this is good. I wanted it to go down further, but this order isn't good anymore. So I'm going to cancel that. And now we'll probably wrap it up. We're oversold here and we're oversold here. So we're looking for up closes on both of these to trigger trades. Okay, they could both happen right now. You get an up close on this one. The low is on this one. The low is at 29.5. So you'd be looking at 31.5 on that one. And the other one did just close up. The NQ did just close up. So it popped out of the oversold, closed up, and we're looking for the same thing to happen here on this one. Now, as I was saying, after direction change, I do like to pull back closer to the BBC because it usually does pull back closer to the BBC. But it is a valid trade right here on the NQ. So here it is. All right, and the S isn't a trade yet, but it's probably going to be in a minute. Now, if this gives 4 points in profit, if it gets up to here, we're going to bump that stop to break even. Okay, if it gets up to right there, we'll bump the stop to break even. And there it is. That one's up there, and we just triggered in on the ES as well. So I'm going to lock in 1 point on the NQ trade. Now I have a 48 tick profit target on it, and I'm out with 1 point on the NQ trade. Right, the ES has a 10 tick stop. It should have a 10 tick stop, and has a 30 tick profit target on it. So the first thing we expect the ES to do is to get up here to 33.5, which is the prior swing high. That is right there. It's got a pretty good number at it, so it could actually do that. All right, over here on the NQ, this ended up working out the way that we wanted it to, except we would have rather had stayed in the trade a little longer. Now you see the numbers up here that are developing above this. It's probably going to get up to those numbers as well. So I'm going to bump that up with 2 more ticks. All right, and that puts us 1 more tick, and we bump the stop to break even. There it is, stops at break even. Now I'll just drag this one up here to break even. Get rid of that. Put this one at break even. And now it should get up. Did you see that number right up there? It should get all the way up there. I'm locking 1 tick on the CS, and we're out with 1 tick. All right. So all that activity, we were just going to shut it down a few minutes early, and all that activity in 3 minutes. We had 2 trades, we made 1 tick profit on the ES and 4 ticks profit on the NQ. In dollars and cents, because I had 10 contracts on, this was $125 over here, and this one was $200 over here. So it was $325 that we made in those 3 minutes. All right, and that is it. With that, let me show you one more time how to take the free trial. If you go here to mytradingIQ.com, click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Click on that purple button. It's going to bring you to this registration page. Just follow the instructions on the page. All right, it's a really simple process. It should take you 30 seconds or less to fill out that page. Once you do that, we sent everything you need to get into the room in the morning. All right, and that is it. With that, we can pass it back out to Fabulous Swing. Start looking. Both of these are getting up to the prior swing high, which is what you anticipate. Where they should go from here, let me just show you. I was just about to pass it back out to Fabulous Swing, Arizona, but before I do that, this should be up here, right about that time. That should be up there, and this one should be right about this time. Should be right about here. Let me check on that tomorrow. I'll hit save right now, as long as I don't mess it up tonight. All right, as long as they both break through these prior swing highs right now. They both have to get through the prior swing highs. They're at them right now, but they have to get through them for that to be a likely scenario. Now, I can pass it back up to Fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, its largest city park. Wait, you are ready.
Okay, recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 5 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,200.
Good job.
I think actually that's wrong. $1,250. Yeah, $1,250.
Better.
And 24 minutes and 9 trades. Sorry, I read you yesterday's. It was 24 minutes and 9 trades to get to $1,250. Oops.
All right.
So yesterday was 5 minutes and 2 trades.
Still a good job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll pick up where we left off on the NQ. Here's where we opened last night, right at a weekly zone, and 70% of the time when price encounters a weekly zone, you're going to get consolidation. Consolidation started yesterday, and then when we opened last night, it continued. Then we failed to put in a higher high. Blue and climbing turned to red and falling. So we got below the BBC, leg and a retracement, leg and a retracement, and a leg right down to the weekly zone, the tick. Now, we then, off this support, off this resistance, drop all the way to this support at the zone, and then bounced back up to here. Then came down and found support at the zone again. This sent us up to the BBC resistance. Back to red and falling, which when it's directly below price will most likely be support, because it's on its way to becoming blue and climbing. So we got a leg, we got a retracement. And now we're heading in the direction of the slice. Crude oil Here's where we opened last night. Up to the zone, consolidated for 2.5 hours. And then in one candle made it all the way to the target, 73.80. Goal for the day. Could have been done last night at 22.30. So then we consolidate along the target. We pull back to the zone and the VBC. That's support times 2. Support will always send the market looking for resistance, which it found at the zone. Consolidated. Dropped back to the VBC. Then we got a leg and a retracement. Pull back held, the pull back held, and the pull back held. Over here, the pull back held, and the pull back held, and the pull back held. Yesterday coming down, the pull back held, and the pull back held, and the pull back held. I probably have mentioned already the pullback holds more often than not. And so, right here, pullback held, and it held, and it held. And now, here's an example of a slice, a proper example. This was a green candle all the way up. But when that move ran out of steam, we retraced back to the zone we sliced through, then continued in the direction of the slice. And so right now, we're headed for the zone overhead at 76.35. We got the perfect slice, right, or the perfect stack right here. Price, step line, blue and climbing. The high of this candle is 76.15. So 76.25 to 76.35, that would be your goal for the day. $100 per contract traded. If you've earned the right to trade 5 contracts, then that's a $500. If you've earned the right to trade 10 contracts, it's $1,000. You start out trading in your demo account. You have to qualify to go live. It would be foolish to become a member and start trading live right away because you haven't learned the methodology or the strategy yet or how to read the indicators. Blueprint is going to put you through 10 consecutive days in a row where you reach your goal in 10 trades or less before you get the green light to go live. Then you go live with 1 contract. Now your goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you accomplish that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a 2nd contract. Big difference between the 1st and 2nd contract is the 1st contract is funded with your startup capital. The 2nd contract is funded with profit you earned in the market. Blueprint's going to tell you when it's time to add contract number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 10, all the way up to number 20. You only add 1 at a time when it's time, and you only add with profit you earn in the market. If you have the discipline to follow the blueprint, it makes it very difficult to blow up another account. It's not impossible because you could break some rules. You could do some things you're not supposed to do and still blow up an account. But if you follow it the way it's laid out, then your destiny is in your own hands. Building a business. This isn't a game. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It typically takes years to build a profitable business of any kind. If you show up every day, do the work, follow the rules, it shouldn't take you years. You should be on your way to profitability relatively quickly. But each person's different. Each person learns at a different speed. The more questions you ask, the better you'll do. So, that's the story. Gold. Here's where we opened last night. We dropped to the short target. Support. That support is that low from yesterday. Price gets above the BBC, you get a leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg, retracement. That's how price moves in legs, not in a straight line. And then the next leg takes us up to the zone, which we expect to be resistance. So we consolidate there. Then we pull back to the BBC, the pullback holds. And this is that 8:30 news. We took a quick drop to the short target. Then the candle closed way up here above the long target. So from this resistance, drop back to the BBC in the zone, support times 2. And that sends us all the way up to here. This high, this is Thursday, this is Wednesday, this is Tuesday. See that high right there from Tuesday? It's today's high. 2647.2, 2647.2, or as they say, to the tick. Okay? All you got to do is learn to look low. Well, you got to learn a couple other things, but that's the primary thing. People always ask, well, how far left do I look? As far as you need to. Okay? So once price got above all these highs, okay, I mean, from down here, I'm going to be looking at these highs, okay? But as price overcomes them, then this is the next potential spot for the market to find resistance. And it did, to the tick. Resistance sent us to support at the BBC, the pullback hill once again. And then we put in a lower high. That's a sign of weakness. This was 46.5. This was 47.2. So a lower high, sign of weakness, brought us all the way back to the BBC, and I'll say it one more time, pullback hill. Now blue and climbing has gotten directly above price. So that's potential resistance. So on the session, you got a high, a lower high, a lower high, and so far, a lower high. Doesn't mean price can't power through. It can. But right now, the highest probability would be a return to the BBC, possibly the zone. If price trades below the zone, then this is potential support. This is potential support. I would let price get down to about 26, 26. And then you got $300 down to the short target per contract. And contracts, $3,000. Silver. Here's we opened last night. Just when you have this kind of consolidation on your 30-minute chart at the BBC, you're above, you're below, you're above, you're below, you're above, you're below. There is no trend. You got to get a leg. You got to get a retracement. Then you get a leg, and it takes you all the way to the target. The 8:30 news didn't impact silver as much as it did some of the other markets. We overcame the zone. Now we sliced through the zone. When it ran out of steam, it retraced to the zone it sliced through and then continued in the direction of the slice. That's how that works. Now, the high of this candle is 31.40. The high of this candle is 31.39.5. The high of this candle is 31.40. So right there, 31.40. Right there, 31.40. This is why it is so important that you learn how to read the chart so that you know where to expect support, so that you know where to expect resistance, so that you're able to visualize the windows of opportunity that exist in between support and resistance. Not going to learn it all overnight. It's going to take time. You're going to have to show up every day. You're going to have to humble yourself and trade in your demo account until you get the swing of things. And you go live with one contract. Then you add contracts with profit you earned in the market. Some people simply don't have the self-discipline to do that. But if you do, then you have the potential to do well. Still have an inside day. Not taking out the high of yesterday or the low of yesterday. Now, we could rally into the close and take out the all-time historic high established yesterday. Or we could just kind of stagnate and go sideways for a bit. But an inside day will often lead to a reversal. Whether it's an inside day down here or an inside day up here. Does it happen 100% of the time? Very few things in the markets happen 100% of the time. Okay? Every time. But we know what happens more often than not. If we knew what was going to happen every time, then those 18,000 alerts in Logic 247, it would be 100%. But no, what it's been is 20% or less on a weekly basis getting stopped out. Use the logic alerts as they're intended. You'll learn to read the chart just like I read the chart. And then I'm not doing any, I have no secret power. I have no crystal balls. It's just a matter of learning what's important and what's not. And being able to read the chart like you read a newspaper. And know with certainty what the next high probability move is. This is the 30-minute chart of the ES. What's the next high probability move? Here. Okay, this would be alert number 18,018. And it's ESZ 24. So we want to sell $58.23. $58.23. Initial target 2 points. $58.21. Potential support. $58.19. Potential support. There's nothing else, so now that'll be the weekly trading zone, which is 58.14 slash 58.15. So let me copy that there and then post it in the trial channel. Okay. So now, see if we get it up there. Okay. Sell 58.23. Initial target 58.21. Potential support 58.19. Weekly trading zone 58.14 slash 58.15. And where's price gotten down to so far? 58.25. 58.2375. So remember, the entry is 58.23, then 58.21, then 58.19, and then the zone. That's how every alert's created. And looks like it may take it a while to get there, but that's okay. And what's the worst possible thing that can happen? You get stopped out, and then another opportunity comes along. Until you can learn to think of it like that, trading is going to be very challenging for you. Honestly, not everybody's cut out to be a trader, okay? However, if you feel that you are, we'll do everything in our power and ability to help you, okay? 2 hours of group training every day. Just had a text. Lost my train of thought. If you want to become a member, go to mytradingiq.com. You need to do it pretty quick if you want to be in the members workshop tonight. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI. Email support@cfrn.net. 2 hours of live training every day. One-on-one mentoring. The strategy you learn, the indicators you own as a passport holder are fluid across all markets, all time frames. You'll receive the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, the concierge trade alerts every night when they're published, weekly trading zones every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, and you'll be able to attend the members only workshop every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll have access to all the previous workshops that are in the vault. Everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low. Okay, time now for our good word for the day. Wrap this. Gorky, you can watch the video on YouTube. It'll be posted shortly after the broadcast ends, youtube.com/CFRN. It will be today's broadcast. All you got to do is fast forward to the end. And then if you're in the members only workshop tonight, I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Okay? You're very welcome. That's why we archive each and every daily broadcast. There's over 2,600 daily episodes waiting for you. youtube.com/CFRN. Okay, today God is calling you. Part 2. Before you were born, I sanctified you. Jeremiah 1:5. The word sanctified means to be set apart for the exclusive use of. The word ordained means ordered according to a plan. Here's 2 things you need to know. God doesn't waste anything He created, and He doesn't waste anything He can use. Before you were saved, God permitted experiences, both good and bad, that were equipping you for what He had in mind. That includes who your parents were, the places they came from, where you were educated, the number of years you spent in school, the jobs you held, and the training you received. It also includes things God put inside you at the time of your birth, even though some of those things may have seemed to work against you while you were growing up. Do you hold on to ideas like a pit bull, God can use that. You enjoy pouring through books and researching. God can use that. Are you quick to confront? Excited to run right at the enemy? God can use that. Today you may feel like you're in the wrong place, doing the wrong things with the wrong people. You may be wondering how you're going to dig yourself out of the hole or turn your life around. And truthfully, the answer may be that you can't. But here's the good news. God can. He can make miracles out of mistakes. So give Him the things in your life that aren't so good, the things you're not so proud of, and say, Lord, here they are. I wish my life was different, but it's not. I wish I could change it, but I can't. Then let God go to work. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making